Hi everyone. I hope you have the opportunity to see this I'm telling you a little bit about myself and my family. My name is Tolouli Pauga. I was born of goodly parents. My dad is Pauga and my mum is Sitane. When I was born, I had the opportunity, I didn't realize that I have been adopted by my uncle, which is my dad's older brother, that they didn't have any children. So they adopted me, but they only lived next door to each other. And that's how it was. And I grew up not knowing who I thought my uncle was my parents until later on my brothers and my sisters told me that they're not your parents. You know how kids are. Okay, now I realized the situation, and my mum and dad were they didn't give me away because they didn't want me, but because they wanted to help his brother and his wife, whom they don't have any children. I'll tell you a little bit about my parents to start off with. My mum and dad, they both went to school at Sauniatu. The school there wasn't a school of learning English or higher education or things like that, but it was a church school. It was, I think, more or less teaching the Book of Mormon and the Bible. It was like a seminary. And that's where my parents met, and they got married there. When they were married, they have 3 children. My eldest sister, Toto, and then my older brother, Tafua, and then my sister, Mamele. They were both all born in Sauniatu. And not long after that, they were called as missionaries to go out to this place. It's called Salisatele in Upolu. And they begin the church over there. While they're there, one of my other brother, Olaya, was born in that place, Salisatele. They stayed there for a while until their time was finished from over there, and then they moved over to the place called Nofoali'i. And they were serving there too as a branch president in that village of Nofoali'i. After they were in Nofoali'i for a while, my grandmother, which is my mum's mother, Mamele, they in Vailili, she was ill, and she needed my mother to go back home and take care of her. So they returned back to Lauli'i, because Lauli'i is not far from Vailili, and my mum was taking care of her mum. But my dad was still working in a plantation to take care of the family. While he was in plantation over there, one of the village heard about him, my parents, are not serving any mission at the moment, and they decided to come over to see him if they would like to come over and to be the branch president in their village. So they came in these long canoes because that's the only way to get around the islands. You can, unless you cross mountains and that, no roads in those days. But so they came on these long canoes called fautasi, and then they came over and they saw my dad, and they give their desire was for him to be their branch president. But unfortunately, my dad said to him, it will be okay with him, but they have to go through the mission president, which was Missy Wiliata, President William at that time. So they went through there, and he was approved of him. So my grandmother was getting better, was okay. So they went back to, and they went over to the place at Whangaloa called Uafato, and they served there for a while. And after that village, and they were called after one at the conference, a mission conference, and they were called out to go to the place called Satapuala. And I know one of our brother that was born there and died when he was a baby there. His name was Tolouli. He was born in Satapuala. While in Satapuala, my dad they have this land for him to use for a plantation, to plant a plantation so they can support his family. And the LMS Church and the Methodist Church, they have conferences once a year, and they wanted to have choir when they have their conference. And they came and asked my dad if he would like to come over and teach them a choir for their conference. This both church, the Methodist Church as well as the LMS Church. And he did that. He went and taught them this choir for their conference, and in return, they all came over and they went and plant and take care of the plantation where my dad was ready to take care of his family in those particular village. So when they finished that, and then they were called back to Vailele after Satapuala. And in Vailele, he was a branch president there, and then he was called to Letongo. And all this time, it was over 10 years. It was over 10 years at that period. And my dad was only a priest. because when he was a branch president in all those places, when he need the blessings of the sick, he cannot do that. He had to go to Pesenga, with the headquarters of the church, and get some elders there to come and give a blessing to the sick, because he was only in the Aaronic priesthood. He was only a priest. And while they're serving in Letongo, after 10 years, and that's when he received the Melchizedek priesthood. And after they served in Letongo, and then they were called to go to Fasta'ota. And they served there just for a little while. I think it was only 1 year in Fasta'ota. And then they have to return back to Tolouli because he had some other calling waiting for him as a district president and over there. So myself and my siblings, as you know, with our genealogy, we all born in various places because of my parents. Right from the beginning, they were serving the Lord in different capacity in different villages, and that's how they were. Okay. So.
When you said you were adopted by your uncle, did you stay with your uncle when your dad went and served all in these places? Did you go with them, or did you stay?
No, I stayed with my uncle.
And your siblings went?
Yeah, my sibling went. And also, when they come back to Tolouli, or wherever they be, when it's a school holiday, they sent me over to them, wherever they are, and they sent me over for school holiday, and then I spent time there.
So you still spent lots of time with your siblings?
Yeah, and I'm learning a little bit more about that. I am really adopted. I always remember it was Mamele and another cousin of ours called Upu. Her name was Upu. And they are the one that I can remember from a little boy. They said to me, "Who's your mum?" And I said, "Vaifaga." "No, it's not. Your mum is Malay." Huh? You know? And then he said, who's your father? And I said, "Leota." "No, it's not. I remember those two, Mamele and Upu. Those are the ones that was really ramming into me."
So how old were you when you found out you were adopted?
I was about 6. I was about 6 years old at that time. Yeah, I remember because I was just about to cut my hair. Remember, they let my hair grow, and for a purpose.
Why?
To see whether it's any good. My hair would be good for those false hair, and then they cut it and they use the hair for those Samoan things.
Was it any good?
Huh?
Was it any good?
No, it wasn't any good. It was too curly. It wasn't any good. They wanted straight.
So did they do that with all the kids, the other boys as well?
Govana was. Govana and me, that I know of. Yeah, those are the two that.
Was his any good?
Huh?
Was his any good?
No, it wasn't any good either. Because it's the same thing. Yeah. So that was something that with as far as my parents was concerned, and this, my adopted parent, Leota and Vaifaga, they were really good. But once I know, I was really, I remember, and I know that for a fact, I'm not ashamed to admit it, but I was in the best of both worlds. When I don't like something that Vaifaga and Leota did, I ran into Tolouli Pauga. And when I go over there and I can see the rest of my brother, they get jealous of me. They say, go over there, go over there. And when those adopted parents, when they eat, they always say the best for me. And when I come and eat here with them, with the Pauga, and then I will go over there, and sure enough, there will be more food there for me. And that's when my brother, my siblings, all just didn't like me for that. But I got the best of both worlds.
So were you the only one child with them, Vaifaga and...
Yes. Oh, no. Later on, they adopted another guy, Tapito. Remember Tapito?
Yeah.
Yeah, they adopted him. That was from Vaifaga's brother's son that they adopted from
And
there.
how old was he when he got adopted?
I think he was older too. He was about 5 or so.
Was he older than you or younger?
No, he's younger than me. Yeah. And I think that is one of the reasons why when he passed away,
Who?
Leota, they, my dad called me because I'm the one that's taking the title, because I'm the rightful one to take this title. But I refused. I didn't want to be a Matai.
Why?
I never have. I never wanted to. So they got my brother Olaya, and then he went in and take over that name. Because it's a very, very important name. Leota, he was a chief of the families, of the I don't know, it's called Ainga Potopoto, a group of all the Matais around here, whom their head, their leader, or they are the one that providing the taupo. The taupo is the one that doing the tawalunga for everything, right? So, and that's how important that's right up until today. Until today, it still is. And then when Olaya passed away, and my dad called me again, and they said, "Haven't you changed your mind?"
So this is later on in life when you're an adult.
Yeah, I was in New Zealand then. They called me back, and I said no. I said to my father that I do not wish or have a desire to be a Matai. So that's how, and then Funga got it, and Funga took that, so Funga's got that title now. And
so, but why? What was the reasoning behind you don't want to be a Matai? Did you not think it was important? Did you not think it was? What was the reason behind it?
it never ever entered my mind. The only thing that was in my mind at all that time, when I went to school, I went to my last year in primary and intermediate school. I was graduated from there, right? I was graduated and I can go to a high school. And I decided I really wanted to go. I was really excited with schooling at that time. So I went to Besenga, and I start my high school over there in Form 3. And the two things that really got me there, it was the music and typing. Of all things, just typing. You know, I don't know why, but that got me. I was doing bookkeeping as well, but these are the two things that really got me, was the music and typing. And I tell you what, I wasn't good with typing, but with music, when I started, and they have these elders from America, his name was Elder Wecker. He was specially sent over to Samoa to teach the band only. That's all his mission, is to teach this band.
What a Palangi guy.
Palangi, yeah. So when I wanted to take over the music, I went early before school start. I was there early. I used to leave early, and I went there and got my clarinet. That's the one I wanted to do. And he was a clarinet man too. And he taught me. Then I found out that he was very interested with me. In other words, I think he thought that I was really good with this. So I was the only student then. I go in the morning, and then he told me to come in with the big band in the afternoon. And then when I go to the big band in the afternoon, he get the two top guys in the big band. His name is Vaifaga and Vaifaga. And I sit in between them. And he's told me, listen to them, follow the music, and try the best that you can with your fingers. And I did. And that's how I really pick it up, my music. And I was so excited about this. I thought, this will be it. Then, after my first term, and my dad said to me, enough school for you. This is how he said it. Enough school for you. You go and get a job and let the little one go to school, right? Govana, Ao, and Fualole. So they went to school, and here am I. But he already arranged too. He already made arrangement for me to go and work for his friend who had a business, Vern Arching. He had a store, and he asked him if any of your sons can come out and work here, looking after the store. So he volunteered me, and when my teacher, music teacher, as well as the principal of the school, when they try everything with my dad, but he won't change his mind. And I was very sad. And the thought that came into my mind at that time, whenever I get married, this was the thought, and I stuck to that. Whenever I get married, and if I have any children, nothing will stand in the way of their education. I want them to go as far as the education can go. And that's what the Matai didn't interest me. All I wanted to do is have a family and have my children go and educate it well. And what happened? I have 4 children. I encourage them all to go to university when they finish school. But you know what? After grade 12, I'm going to work, Dad. I'm going to work, Dad. I'm going to go. And you all went to work.
And you went to uni.
Moi.
Who went to uni?
Listen,
Moi.
I'm not finished yet. I'm not finished yet.
Okay.
Yeah, and they all went and worked. And I was so disappointed. Nobody. And Lance, Suzanne said to me that I want to go back to go to university. But she said, I want to go to Hawaii, to the BYU. And I said, well, what's stopping you? Because at that time I couldn't care less about because they don't listen to me. And she said, I already make an approach here, and they said to me, have you got $24,000? And then you don't have a cent. Anyway, when Suzanne came and told me that, I rang up my cousin, my niece, Ata. I rang her up and I said, can you make an appointment for me and Suzanne with the principal of the college or whatever? And she did, and she rang me back and she said, this was on Friday. I make an appointment now this Friday. So I said to Suzanne, we'll hop on a plane and let's go. When we went over to Hawaii, and we arrived there on Thursday. And our interview was on a Friday. And then I found out that Suzanne took all the papers from year 12 and how she accepted here in Australia to go. But he told me in the interview that was unfortunately for you, because all the students that we pick here for the BYU are from Samoa, New Zealand, and Tonga, and Tahiti, because they have church college over there, and that's how we pick our children. So I said to him, just because we come from Australia, so I penalized for that, because we got no school there. And he was trying to tell me other thing, and I said, look, I'm the father, the same as any other fathers of those students going in there. I'm a member of a church, I pay tithing, and so are they too. So what's the difference? My daughter can't come over here because there's no school in Australia, but you can see her papers there that she is qualified to go to university. And she said, well, the problem is we don't have any sponsor left here in the school. And I said, well, what about the PCC? And he said, well, you go over there and see them because I don't know them. And I said, well, who's to see over there? And he told me the name, and I said, well, can you give him a ring and I'll go over there now? So he gave him a ring, and we went and we walked across over there. And when we walk up, and the guy was a Samoan, and I am Mo'inga, and I know his family in Everett, not far from Tolouli, and they have families in Tolouli as well. So when we met over, and I told him the problem with my daughter, and then he said, don't worry, go and get your things organized and get there to come to school. So we went back to him, what's his name? Cecil.
Oh,
Cecil? Or what?
I can't remember.
And I said to him, okay, now we got a sponsorship over there.
Settle, David Settle.
Yeah, David Cecil. We got a sponsorship from the BCC, and I said to him, because one of my nephew, his job is here is with a loan, student loan. He didn't, and then he did tell it. I didn't tell him that, but he told me most of these children, this student here, they're not qualified to be here, but because they know so and so. So I said to Cecil, now we got a sponsorship, and now we it's got a job to come to, and then you said that I can't because we've got no school over there, but there's a lot of people here that they're not even qualified to be in the BYU, but because they know you and you and you, so they're here. And all he said to me, that's a situation we're trying to avoid. Well, but that's not my situation. So we ran back home, and here we are. Suzanne came back here. And later on, Lance was going to Griffith University, but he wants to go to BYU in Provo, and he was accepted there as well. I already went over there, make organized there, and he was accepted there to go the following March. And when we got home, and Lance said, I joined the fire brigade. And Sydney went to Perth, and then he became a bishop, and he decided to go back to uni. So they all went back to uni. Okay, so that will do for now.